It's a beautiful thing to be with you this morning. My name is Jeff Hood. I am a Baptist pastor, perhaps not just any type of Baptist pastor, but a Southern Baptist pastor. And lately, I've had a lot of time to think about borders and boundaries. I was sitting in class, I'm a doctoral student at Bright Divinity School, and sitting in class last spring. And this class on immigration, we began to talk about what is the end game? What is the end goal? And I raised my hand and I said, can we imagine a world where there are no nationalities, there are no borders, there is simply us? Well, you would have thought that I was talking about Mars. This morning, I think it's important that we realize that the borders and boundaries that we create in our lives cause violence. They separate. They divide. They keep us from being in relationship with each other. As we stand next to the Federal Building, so often when we think about what it means to be here in the United States, we don't spend a lot of time thinking about the 70,000 people who have been murdered in northern Mexico. Less than a couple hours drive from where we stand right now. And that's because we have erected borders and boundaries in our lives that allow us to other people. Just this past week, I was in Huntsville, Texas. And I told people this week, I said, the way of the cross in Texas ends in Huntsville. We live in a state that is executing more people than most nations on earth. And somehow we seem to be able to pass concern by saying those people are monsters. Those people are something less than human. We look outside of our national boundaries and we're able to not care because somehow those people are different. Somehow those people are other. It is Good Friday, and there is good news. If we want to talk about gun violence, gun control, ending all of these things, then we need to talk about the borders and boundaries that we put in between each other that lead us to protect things. What would be the big deal if the border between the United States and Mexico was taken down this afternoon and people came and got all your stuff? And we were pushed in a direction of Jesus, where we share, where we learn to love each other. You see, I don't believe that Jesus died to save us from our sins. I believe that Jesus died to show us the way. And the question is, are we willing to go the way of the cross? Are we willing to put down our power, our violence, our hate, and learn to love our neighbors as ourselves? As we were walking over here, this guy said something to me that made me so angry. I wanted to turn around and punch that guy in the face. He said, I wish I could protest with y'all, but I'm working. And I wanted to get it right up in his face, and then I said, you know, Jeff, you're about to talk to people about loving their neighbor as their self. It might not look nice for you to get in a tussle with this guy on the sidewalk before you get there. But I think names like Adam Lanza, Fred Phelps, corporate executives, all of these people that we have othered. Now wait a second. You didn't expect me to say those names. You see, in our activism, what will be the measure of whether we follow the way of Jesus will be how much love we show to those that we have othered. It's not just the people on death row. We are in a time of increasing polarity, increasing division. And I want to know something. Do we as Christians have the courage to get up on that cross and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do? And when we travel to that space, that is the space in which we can say we are following the way of Jesus. When we go to that space that's not just about justice, but is about reconciliation, that's when we can talk about following the way of Jesus. Will we push towards the cross today? It means loving our neighbors as ourselves, even if they're killing us. Today, whether we are American, Mexican, black, white, gay, straight, whatever dichotomy, boundary, border, identity that we can come up with, Jesus is calling us to a cross where such things die, and we are asked to love our neighbors as ourselves no matter what. Will we put down our guns, whether they be our mouths or whether they be physical guns, and begin to love our neighbors as ourselves? This is the hour of the crucifixion. This is the time of forgiveness. This is the place where reconciliation happens. So I invite you all to climb up on that cross and hang there for a little while. And so love is all that is left. Amen.